All right, I am gonna do my best here. Got some medicine, not the kind I need. Got some tea, so we're gonna give it a shot. Forgive me if I sound a little short of breath. That's what I'm dealing with right now, and hopefully we'll get through this. Okay, so I'd like to talk about why art matters. Oftentimes, I come across people in my weekend activities when I'm actually working and doing a vendor fair as far as selling artwork, drawing cartoons, selling paintings, things of that sort. That's kind of my job right now. But oftentimes, I either come across people that either, when it comes to art, don't see any purpose for it, don't feel like they can do art, or find that what does art really get you when it comes to real world applications, when it comes to a job, making money, things of that sort, things that matter to most of us that have families and in general. So what I'd like to talk about is, address some of those issues when it comes to, why art matters and why art is relevant and why you should consider supporting art, whether it be for art programs within education, especially education, or whether you should maybe consider giving art a second chance, trying it yourself, learn by doing, or possibly even, just understanding why an artist needs to make art or why it exists and how it impacts everyone, your life, my life, around the world on a daily basis. So let's start with a small story here, of personal nature. My father, he was a realtor, and when I was a kid, he kind of would buy me some art supplies here and there, and didn't really think much of it. But as I got older, then I realized that he kept there was a little bit of a struggle there when it came to me pursuing art, because I already knew what I wanted to do in my career from the early on. Single age, double digits, 10 years old. I already knew artist was where I was going. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I felt good doing. That's what I wanted to do, and I'm pretty stubborn, and I'm going to do it. But him being a realtor, businessman type of thing at the time, kept trying to push me into areas of trying to do a real job. The real job is what I constantly kept hearing was do a real job. What's that going to get you? That's nothing. Why don't you draw a horse instead of drawing a dragon? I mean, everyone's a critic, right? But it wasn't until decades later, when I reconnected with him, and he had a friend who had a daughter who was into art, and he goes, "Oh, hey, my son, Johnny is into art." And then I was like, "Oh, really? I'm an artist now?" No, just kidding. But ultimately, though, I we were at a park, and we were walking, and I pointed out the sidewalk to the curb to the girl. I said, "You see, when it comes to art, everything is analyzing and breaking it down and understanding how the way light works." So I mentioned looking at the curb and how the darker shadow that was away from the sunlight was obviously darker, and then while the top part of the curb that was the light was hitting was reflecting more light. When I broke it down analytically like that, I kind of saw light go off in my father's eyes, not to mention the little girl's eyes. Then it's like he got it. It's like, yeah, that's what we do. Um, if you've ever found yourself wondering, well, what, well, where is art around me? I mean, look at the things that you use on a daily basis. Look at the food that you eat, that you prepare. What kind of ingredients go into that food to make it taste a certain way, to activate certain flavors, and to basically enthrall your palate? That's art. Believe it or not, that is art. The house that you live in, the house that you rent, the monuments that you go and visit, those are art. Now there might be some math involved in this, granted, and me with the math disorder, I'm not that good at math. But I mean, if you see anyone that has great carpentry skills, it's not just math that they're doing. They're doing art in a three-dimensional sense. The craft, the care, the love that goes into making that wood look nice, and form. Form is art. I mean, you are coexisting with art. Okay, so now let's talk about how you can possibly be an artist. Many of you are already artists, you just don't realize it. For example, let's take something like this: a wooden dowel bought at your department store. I've taken a wooden dowel and with a rotary tool, small little rotary tool from local Walmart, chopped it up into cubic forms and pieces, and just kind of thought through something that I wanted to make. And with the use of dowels and a couple of rotary tools and just some imagination and a lot of wood glue, I was able to come up with this. A sculpture. Now, granted, there's some embellishments here with textures and all that, things of that sort. But this was a broken bookcase that I had. The ones that you have in the bathroom that you put magazines, like a book rack. And the rest of this is all dowels, wooden dowels, just cut up and assembled with wood glue. Just kind of took my time, like playing with Legos, like a brick system. A brick system is art too. So when you go out there and you look around you, I want you to remember that what you're looking at, what you're doing is art. An athlete, when you're watching that game, when they make that basket or when they catch that ball and move away from each person that's trying to come at them to tackle them, and they get around, or even fighting, all of that is technical, but it's also art. It's graceful, sometimes it's aggressive, but I mean, it invokes a feeling of passion in you. That is art. When you go to work, try and get through your day if you can. If take a second and just look around, maybe you'll see that job in a new set of eyes. I doubt it, but especially if it's an office cubicle. But believe it or not, there's art in there. There's art in what you do. I mean, in your daily life, what you do is art. There's art in everything that you do, and I just want you to take a second look, put your art eyes on, and take a look around you and see the art around you. Thanks. I hope you look in the future. Go ahead and give some thought to supporting art and education. One last thing that I will say is that my wife is a teacher, and when it came to literacy with children trying to get their scores up, it was a hard act to sell them, to get them to read the books. But then when we brought in a whole bunch of comic books that had all this nice different artwork, their literacy scores went through the roof. So art gives you vision, art gives you access, and it's up to you to go ahead and take advantage of that access, because guess what? It's free, it's around you already, and it's yours. Thank you.